We're live.
Already?
We are live.
All right.
Hello there.
Welcome to Two Guys with Guitars. That's Dr. Dylan Caligiuri over there. I'm Eugene Edwards over here. Guess what? Guess what I picked up the other day before I left town.
What's that?
I'm a big boy. I have prescription glasses now.
Dude, that's wow.
What's everybody think, huh?
That's really impressive.
Now, here's the deal. I only need them for reading, right? Like I just can't see like really up close and reading detail. I can see distance just fine. So I'm walking around for like a year or two with just these little, readers, the cheater glasses you get at Walgreens.
Dr. Dina Dell's.
Dr. Dina Dell's, exactly. Yeah. And so so I would not have them on because I don't need them, and then I get a text from like you, and then I gotta get my little readers. I gotta put them. I gotta put the little things on to read my textoso from Dylan, and then I'm done. I write back to Dylan. I don't know. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, Dylan. and then I think I'm done, and then they're still on, and then I go to walk somewhere, and I'm getting woozy because I'm looking at distance, but I don't need the. And I'm taking them on and off, on and off, on and off. These is just down the very bottom. I can read if I look down. I can read. They're bifocals.
All right.
Because here's what happens: I'd be on the couch, watching my beloved Sports Center at the end of the night.
Wait a minute.
And I would. Are we not live?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it says we're live.
All right. And I'm watching my beloved Sports Center, and then I get a textoso from you about something, and then in order to watch Sports Center way over there on the other side of the room, and they'll read your textoso. I'm this guy.
Oh yeah,
I'm this guy now.
But then, so you're the library.
I don't want to be this guy.
Yeah, you're the library person.
So now, and then, so now I don't. I can just now I have to get used to just leaving them on.
Yeah,
I can just leave them on. I can see distance, and then if I need to read something, I look down here. I'm fine. I'm gonna find out some eyeglasses moves. Let's watch this. Is
there a flip?
Seems like no. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. But what I am doing is. Let's see here. Let's say start telling me about your worries about AI.
I am concerned that dogs will love cats in an AI-driven world. What is that? What's happening right now? I don't know if you're paying attention to me. It could be
just cleaning the glass, just kind of cleaning them, and kind of not looking, and just kind of dismissively.
And wow, but it could be
and
supportive. It could be like I'm also concerned about this.
You don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know. But now here's the other thing. And then how I get real hot. I start making a lot of points.
Yeah.
Like I get really, and then I can do this. And then here's the capper. Here's the ultimate thing. That move right there. I like that when you just kind of give a little, just like get them on because like this action.
So this is the Walter Mondale.
The Mondale. What did he do?
He
would take them off
when the president has been shot.
Oh no! No.
Cronkite.
That's
final answer.
I'm supposed to wear these glasses when I'm losing in a landslide? That's a Walter Mondale. Wow, great reference. All right.
You're thinking.
Let's just say hi to anyway. And by the way, and then the eye doctor says I need to start wearing sunglasses because I work outside all the time in the yard and stuff, and just maintenance on the house. And I just don't wear sunglasses. Did you know the whites of your eyes can get sunburnt? They get damaged.
That's not all.
So then I was outside wearing sunglasses, or when I'm driving, and then I get a textoso from you, and then now I can't see.
I don't think I texted you today.
No, not. I'm just. This is in general.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
So then the sunglasses were coming off, then the cheaters were going on, and then so now these are transitions.
Oh,
if I go outside,
so it's
they become sunglasses.
Jessica Fletcher, Murder She Wrote situation going on here.
Anyway, I'm wearing glasses now. Although I don't need them for the show.
It's
okay,
full-on.
So let's say everyone's saying hi. Scott Folgeman, thank you. Darren, Michael Storms, Jonathan Lingo,
Jonathan,
and everybody.
John,
yeah. Oh, Bruce Hunsberger from Northern Indiana. We were just talking about David Letterman, and I think I'm going to be in Gary. I think in November, Bruce. So hopefully you can come out and see the show. And John Waby says I can't eat with glasses on. I feel like food is flying at my face from outside of my field of vision.
Those are some strong.
I would use cutlery. I think there's an easier way to eat, John.
There's going to be Google glasses. They already exist, obviously, but there's Google glasses that will, for the small price of reading your brain and storing all your thoughts in them, they will actually transition in and out of being just, like functioning or not functioning based upon one. So it'll go to your prescription or out of it. Boom, boom, in and out, in and out.
Well, why would I wear glasses that don't have that don't have like some sort of?
So you have to take them off. Oh, because you can also just read your phone on them or something if you want, or you can.
Yeah, but they all look like they just don't look good.
They didn't look good before. Now they look like glasses.
That's why they failed originally, because they just looked like nobody wanted to be seen
as a cyborg.
Right.
And yet we are all cyborgs.
And then the frames were from my friend Carla. Hi, Carla. She and her husband have a sunglasses company outside of San Diego.
Yeah.
And when she found out I don't wear sunglasses, she said I was a sociopath. And so she sent a tortoiseshell pair and a black pair of sunglasses.
A sociopath? I mean, where's that?
I don't know. That's just what she said. She says, not even when you're driving. I said, no. She said, you're a sociopath. And so, but I mean, she is the company, so she would know. So I like the frame so much, I just went to the optometrist and said, can you just put glasses in these? So these used to be my sunglasses.
Right.
And now they're my everything glasses.
Everything.
I find this fascinating. Augmented reality. Now that is, Jonathan, augmented reality is just a normal reality, but with a sharp 5. Right there. Give me one look and I'll be happy. Just to be with you. Give me a chance to be near you because I love you. Dave Clark 5. Little sharp 5 action for you there. Now, we had a question in the Patreon bank.
Oh, yes.
Someone in the Patreon had a question.
I
thought this is a decent question because this is or dominant 7th reality. Dominant 7th reality. That's the bluesy reality. Right? That's the give me one good reason reality.
Give me one reason to stay. That's not my key.
Oh, sorry. So the question, and I'm sorry, I don't remember. No, not Chad and Jeremy. It was Dave Clark 5, but good. I mean, that's a good guess, honestly. Chad and Jeremy, they were a British singing duo, pop duo in the 60s. Now, and they often get confused with Peter and Gordon. Because they were like just like little, everybody looked like Austin Powers. And it seems as though McCartney and Lennon wrote songs for all of them. So maybe you guys can, because A World Without Love was a big hit for Peter and Gordon or Chad and Jeremy. I can't keep them separate.
I do know that song, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great tune. Okay, so now you may remember the question or who asked it. And it was about gauging where you are in terms of level of playing. Okay, so this question came to us from you're gonna find it for how cool. Okay, and I could read that because I don't need glasses to read that far. So this is that's not it. It was Greg. It was still Greg. Yeah. Greg W says, after the last couple of shows, I thought it might be useful to have a little discussion about how to gauge one's progress as a player. He said progression, but then I think of chord changes. So I'm thinking progress as a player.
Either one.
There's probably others like me that play in a bubble and get feedback from biased sources. That's really interesting. That's great self-awareness. Greg, that you knew that. That's very impressive. I'd like to know, for example, how to recognize the difference between an advanced player and an intermediate player. Somewhat subjective, I know. Just a thought. Well, Greg, first of all, thank you for sharing that thought and your honesty. And it is a good question. And I like that you added it is subjective because even one of my favorite guitar players of all time was a guy named Danny Gatton. I probably mentioned before on the show. But there was a few insecurities he had about his playing and musician. Like there was a humility about the guy, and he would talk about the people that influenced him. Like he was never going to be those people.
Right.
So to him, I mean, he was certainly an advanced player.
He didn't live in the environment to be those people. So he loved all the Western swing and jazz guys.
And that era,
and he was playing, and the era's gone, and also he's playing as a studio musician in Nashville. So it's like you're not going to be them because you're not even
in
trying
their context.
To be them.
Yeah, you're not even there. Okay, so that reminds me of something. But if we have time, I'll go into it. But anyway, so Greg, I think this is a good because you have, it's not just your doctorate in music, but also it's your background in music education.
Yeah,
which I think qualifies you to handle this first and foremost.
Yeah, I think so. In terms of like whether somebody's advanced or intermediate, okay, so I'll tell you. So at Fender we had beginner, out of the box beginner.
Like, meaning you just got your first guitar out of
just
the box.
got your guitar and you took it out of the box, right?
Sure.
Okay, then we have intermediate beginner, which is like someone that has a small amount of experience but a lot of holes in their playing. Then advanced beginner, which would be...
No, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But just set the table. Was this the discussions that you and Mary and some of the folks were having before Fender Play was even up and running?
Absolutely.
Like, these are just the conceptual
we
meetings.
considered everything.
At having coffee over at the Glitter Gulch, probably.
No, well, yeah,
Gulch,
part of that, but it was just we were trying to think about everything somebody could want to learn and why and how it would be.
So big questions.
It's a big, huge question.
Yeah, okay.
Huge documents with comments on them.
beginner,
yeah,
advanced beginner,
beginner, intermediate beginner, advanced beginner.
Advanced beginner.
And so because beginners, people will refer to themselves as beginners forever if they don't feel like their playing is developed.
This is kind of the heart of Greg's question.
Yeah. And then as far as intermediate players go, intermediate's a huge category too, where, I mean, did you just become an intermediate because you learned a new set of skills, or have you been an intermediate your whole life? Because intermediate implies the intermediacy between something. So you're in permanent, it's like, it's just say purgatory. Why even say intermediate?
Sure.
Purgatory between love God and just started out.
Okay.
But the basic criteria here are going to be, have you moved on from cowboy chords?
I was thinking this too.
Yeah. Have you moved on from cowboy chords into bar chords and beyond, and can you play up the neck a little bit? And then that's in terms of harmony. In terms of single note, are you able to play any scales with any sort of fluency across the neck in different keys at all? And those are sort of the technical aspects. The rest of it's just really about songs and can you make it sound like the song.
Any questions, Greg? I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good because as we know, and then now we have this whole other discussion of, look, as someone who listens to music, so this is not my guitar brain. This is not my guitar player brain talking. It's just like my fan of music brain talking.
Sure.
I personally, I don't spend a lot of time listening to, I think technically advanced players. I don't want to name names because it'll sound disparaging. I don't mean to disparage very famous players who can play very fast. Mm-hmm. They're very technically accurate and proficient, and that is impressive in itself. And that I understand that's the reason to listen to them. Mm-hmm. I guess there's a lot of more like bebop and jazz guitarists that I'll listen to that fall in that category, but I do enjoy the sound they make.
Sure.
But for the most part, when I'm listening to music, I like to listen to tunes, songs, and if there's a really cool, I mean. Was like I think Peg was on the radio. The Steely Dan song Peg. Go ahead. Yeah, give me a little back. I'm gonna go a little Peg with it. And the verse kind of functions like a 12-bar in a weird, in a strange way. It's really kind of a blues, dressed up in major sevenths and all that. And of course there's the kind of the famous chorus with Michael McDonald's really dominant background vocals. And it's got this very interesting story to tell. And the groove is great, and the melody's discernible, and the lyrics are intriguing. The fact that there's a wicked cool guitar solo on Peg,
it's a killing guitar
is just cherry on top. I think I would dig the song without it, but the fact that do you know it? Because I've never learned it.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's like
like
those little chromatic moves, and the bent. The bent dyads, the way he comes in, and I don't know if that's Larry Carlton or you Steely Dan dude's gonna kill me because I don't.
It's Larry Carlton and Jeff Skunk Baxter.
Yeah, there you go. So that to me is when it all comes together perfectly.
Like the technique with the song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So my point of mentioning this is Greg, do you enjoy hearing yourself play? And if you do, then I don't know how to describe it in terms of advanced or intermediate or not. But you're doing well.
Yeah.
Because that means you are meeting your goals.
Yeah.
And you talk a lot about setting goals, obtainable goals, and maybe that's one way. And like you said, in a bubble, you're right. How would we know? So then if you say I want to learn how to play. I don't know, side one of the Asia album by Steely Dan, that would be advanced. But if you someday hit that goal, Yeah, we know you advanced your playing because
Right.
that's something you couldn't do before.
Yeah.
Kind of squishy, I know. Like, you know, I was at Berkeley for a very short time, but for all you, if anyone's familiar with Berkeley College of Music and how it works, there are ratings, right? There's in four categories.
They also rate guitar too, but
oh, funny. So, and the lowest rating is 1 and the highest is 9, right? And it's on things like sight reading and comping, which is you know, supporting a you know, playing chords behind a lead.
short for accompanying.
Short for accompanying. I think there and then there's soloing and I can't remember the fourth name. I don't remember. So that is some way because you actually go in front of a panel of teachers.
Yeah, and they
you
just
play
assess
something, and they assess you.
And they help you figure out what you need to work on.
And they talk to you about it. It's great, and you get that feedback.
Yeah.
You know that Greg, you're saying we don't always get. We're at home, and how do we know? The other great thing, play with other people. Go out there, and even if you just, you know, I saw the other day. I was pulling up not too late at night at the house, and across the street the garage door was open. There's a couple of guys, and they just had guitars out. One had an acoustic, and one had like an electric going on a small practice amp, and just playing back and forth.
That's
They're just
fun.
playing.
Yeah.
And I just loved seeing that. I loved seeing that. And by the way, and I don't know which one of those two was advanced or more advanced than the other, or who was a beginner. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. But it's much like tennis, though. You want to play against people who are better than you. That's the way you'll.
Yeah. The goal is to be the worst person in the band that will tolerate you being the worst person in the band.
Yeah, the great Danny Gatton. Thank you, Dennis, for noticing that. 4-year beginner, Dennis Polson says, I'm a 4-year beginner. Well, yeah, I mean, it can feel that way. So, Dennis, you know, and I don't. Maybe if you're happy as a 4-year beginner, if you're happy being there, then by all means stay there. And you know who to ask, and there's so much help out there, and there's so many great tools to find. Okay, so what's the? In fact, you just Google intermediate guitar lesson. Whatever comes up, if it's something you can't do, I'm just saying like that might be one way.
If you guys, one of the things that I would recommend adding if you really want to scale up quickly is
pun. Was that a pun? I mean, not a pun, but was that a joke? Was that
no?
Okay,
Absolutely
scale
not.
up. Right.
How dare you? It would be like a practice log. So figuring out what you're working on and what aspect of it you're working on, and then just tallying what you do every time you practice. Really shorthand, though. Just going, you know, okay, I'm going to warm up. This is like the most leveled up I've ever been in my life and playing.
Yeah.
Where these really concentrated short periods of time, where maybe for a summer, I practiced for, I don't know, 3 to 5 hours a day.
You know what I did early today before I came down here?
Yeah.
I practiced some piano.
I love practicing piano. It's great.
And
I'm stuck at it. Yeah.
So but since I don't have any formal instruction on piano, I took a song I just know.
Yeah.
And just figured it out.
Yeah.
Figured it out. And then I specifically made sure I was playing inversions of chords.
Right.
So not just playing, you know, root, third,
but that's
fifth.
just different for them because they don't have any experience.
I guess so. Okay,
they're not working from being a musician already.
But I'm just saying. But I certainly, my point is, man, do I feel beginner.
Yeah,
sitting at the piano.
So you feel a beginner because of the technical facility or lack thereof.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's an arpeggio over
right.
D major.
So they also don't. They also don't
off.
have that though. So like they don't have. Maybe some of them might, but like there's the knowledge and the technical ability could be missing if you're a brand new beginner, you know?
As Marilee says, I usually think I sound good until I record myself and then I'm crushed by reality. Actually, though, that's a really good reason to record yourself, Marilee. And Marilee has been a private student of mine, and we talk about this because that's, you know, and Marilee lives out in the country, man.
Great.
So, well, what's great because she can crank it and no one's going to complain.
Space?
She has a lot of space out there. we could do.
Can we?
Yeah, we could build a whole facility out on her land. And so no one's going to complain about the volume.
Yeah.
But also, you know, she gets together with somebody every now and then and does play, and that forces her to prepare for something, which is good.
Yeah.
But I know, Marilee, we talked about you know, because when you're practicing by yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Where's the accountability? So recording yourself. I'm still trying to. Or that's what a metronome. Even that's just a source of time accountability. You need that feedback, and sometimes it's automated, sometimes it's another person, and sometimes, you know, if you're working out a Mel Bay guitar instruction books, you're not out of the first book yet.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways.
Well, okay, so Michael Storm's question about a left-handed player learning from a left-handed player, I don't think it should matter. I've had hundreds of left-handed students over the years, and I don't. It didn't make a difference. The hard part is just as a teacher reaching to the right arm and being able to facilitate. Because the great thing about an in-person lesson is you can just move the person's fingers and help them see what it's physically like to do something. But so it shouldn't matter, Michael, as long as the teacher's pretty decent. The other thing I was going to say is that recording journal thing, if you guys ever do want to make a ton of progress, I mean, the real categories are like, all right, so what am I doing to work on a warm-up thing to get some speed or get some technical facility? What am I doing to work on chords, melodies, and songs? Or chords, scales, and songs. I mean. And that's it. And so you spend just set a timer and do 5 minutes in each category. And that's a way to build full-on metrics. That's a bit of an assembly line way to solo. Or excuse me, to practice. To practice. And you can gain serious results from that. And that's something we always wanted to be able to add to Fender Play.
I always love the idea, and I tell students just get an egg timer, or I guess on your phone there's a little timer there. So yeah, make it. Some people you either do not have the amount of time, but also isn't there a certain point when you can? So say I'm going to practice for 2 hours today because I got nothing to do. Okay, great, but at some point in those shows, you're probably not going to be progressing anymore, right? You're probably not learning. You might, right? Can't you start spinning your wheels a little bit, Dylan?
Yeah.
If you don't normally practice for 2 hours, then that's not structured, then
it'd have to be structured, or it's just jamming.
You were probably getting, maybe at best, you're probably getting 30 good quality minutes of return.
Well, practice and practice implies you're learning something new or something you need to work on.
Okay.
Playing means you're just playing stuff.
If you're working on the solo to a Guns N' Roses song, and you know what it is, you have the tab there, you have your tones in it, then you could very well work for 2 hours on that, and at the end of the 2 hours, you'll know whether you've got it or not. Was that November Rain?
Yeah.
I heard a story. Oh gosh,
hey,
who was it? Somebody. Oh, where did I hear this story?
Yeah.
It was a wedding, and Axl Rose was there and performed November Rain.
At
the piano.
Right.
Rather unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah.
Look and hear your eyes.
Oh gosh, did I hear this?
Rain.
I don't know if I heard this story privately or if I heard it publicly. Meaning, if anybody knows what I'm talking about,
do you hear stories publicly?
What I mean is, did I hear this? Did I hear someone on a podcast or on the radio show?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that was the whole. Yeah, that's what I.
Oh, Michael is right-handed and learned a song from a lefty seemed way easier because he didn't have to flip everything.
It's a mirror thing. John and Paul would talk about that. John Lennon, Paul McCartney.
Yeah,
because you'd sit across from each other, acoustic guitars, and you're just looking at a mirror. Paul's showing John a song.
Could be something.
And he's doing it, and it was just like it was right. It was right there, and they just got used to it.
Could be something there.
Yeah. So
you
adjust.
I could see that.
We adjust.
Now you guys, before we go on, so me and Eugene are flirting with the idea of starting a Learn on Till channel. So
explain to them what that is.
Learn on Till.
Learn on Till. T-I-L.
So it's something I've already done, but me and Eugene would do it together, and it would basically be like similar to what we're doing right now, only everybody would have their guitar, and we would teach.
Right.
We'd maybe do a 10-minute sort of lecture on what we're working on as a group, and then we'd go around to everybody individually. And
right, you'd be in little tiles.
Yeah.
And then
would we.
And we would be in
for
tiles
you,
too.
For
we would actually probably do it from here, frankly.
Right.
So the idea here is that now for a fee, you get into the classroom basically.
A low fee.
A low fee. And you would get into the classroom, and then we would have a syllabus. We would have PDFs for you. We'll have PDFs for you guys, whether it's a lesson on scales or modes or whatever. It could be a particular tab of what we're about to show, and place you can play along. You keep it so you can practice.
Sure.
And 10 minutes of us explaining what the thing is, and then we just kind of go around and watch your hands and make sure that you're cottoning on to what we're talking about here. So this is a way for us to get in depth. Also, frankly, it's just kind of it's as much of a one-on-one experience as we could think of doing.
Yeah.
For you guys.
Yeah, and we're just trying to think of a way to continue doing this endlessly until we die.
Yeah.
Someday.
Because they keep making more stuff up about music.
You know what I mean?
I do.
It started with 12 notes. What are we at now?
Well, I was at the piano, and there were like
a lot of keys there. There's a ton of keys on that thing.
I was playing here, and
it's
then
unbelievable.
The dog made a sound. I looked over, and there was all this other piano.
All that other part of the piano over there. Yeah,
and I don't even.
It's totally unreasonable.
I don't even. It's a mess. So anyway, that would be Learn on Till, and so we were kind of excited about like talking about this, engaging your interest in the whole thing. And we'll be making more announcements. And no, we'll still. I think the idea of one of our concepts is that we would probably do it on Wednesdays, right?
I think we'd just do it right after this.
Right. We would do this, and we would most likely talk about what we're going to specifically teach later on in the classroom. If you
some of it, yeah.
Some of it. I mean,
some of it,
yeah. So anyway, we would still be here for this and answer these questions, but
we're going to do it.
Stuff. Okay,
we're going to do it.
You just saw a decision made, people.
There it is.
So tonight, after this, I'm going to go to the. I still call it the Staples Center.
As opposed to
it's what's it called, people? Staples is now like the bitcoin.com. No, it's not Bitcoin, but it's got
crypto.com.
It's the crypto.
That's right.
It's the crypt. I'm taking my daughter, and she doesn't know. This is a surprise. I'm going to take her to see a guy named Zach Bryan. He's a kind of an Americana singer-songwriter guy, and she really, really likes.
Like a younger guy or an older guy?
Yeah, he's a younger guy, and the women love him.
Oh, now, sure, he's adorable.
Actually, I don't think it's based on anything how he looks. I think just his songs and his voice and his lyrics.
This is why women are just better people in general.
Yeah. So and so we're gonna go there, and she doesn't know. It's a surprise. She mentioned months and months ago that she saw on a billboard that he was going to be playing in Los Angeles, and so I started pulling strings like a marionette.
It
was so. Getting tickets to anything nowadays, right? I'm sure some of you guys have stories if you're seeing.
They're really expensive.
So, and I'm pulling in favors to managers. Like I've not called a favor in 12 years and stuff. Okay, I'm now going to ask a favor. Like, what is it? They think it's going to be a kidney or something. I need 2 tickets to see Zach Bryan at the Staples. They're like, that's it? Yeah. And then, but a 12-person email chain later.
But you're going to ask me to pick you up from the airport.
2 apps. Yeah, exactly. Oy. Oh, I can't wait to. Now, here's the thing. So I'm going to go to an arena, and I know I would recognize one of his songs. It's good, but I don't spend any time listening to this cat, really. So I'm going to go sit in an arena and watch a full show of someone about whom I really kind of know nothing. You ever done that?
Oh, yeah.
Have you?
Like
what? Like a lot?
Several times.
How'd it go?
I ended up enjoying it.
I did this, I think last summer. A friend of mine from the East Coast was in town to see, now I can't remember the name, but it was one of the K-pop bands. It was playing at the Forum. And they had a ticket, and they said, do you want to, I mean, I know you're not into this, but do you want to go? And I went, because I just
And it was awesome.
It was impressive in its own way. Because I just wanted to, what goes on there? I don't know anything about this world.
It's a totally different world.
Here's the thing, man. I wanted to be near, like whatever, like a Beatlemania thing, where just kids just screaming, that sort of hysteria. And there was screaming, but there was a really polite audience. Like when one of the guys would start to speak in between the songs, they'd listen.
Wow,
it was always a little too polite.
Well, they're afraid their Zoom feed will, like if they talk while they're talking, it'll make that weird
No,
thing.
it was in person. By the way, when Taylor Swift played at SoFi, one of the nights, a buddy of mine's in the band, and some other friends of mine went and saw her. And she does this thing about 10 songs in. She's like in the middle of the song and just kind of stops. It's kind of a diva moment. Like Beyonce does this after like this third song. She's singing and she just stops and the audience goes crazy. And she just let the audience go nuts, absorb it, and then go back into the song. Well, Taylor did the same thing, and the place was going nuts. 8 minutes. 8 minutes of just ovation before she went back into the song. The front of house guy timed it. And my friend Drew said he was watching it at first, and when it goes on for like a minute or 90 seconds or 2 minutes, he's thinking, this is amazing. Like to witness this does not feel normal. This feels like very special. You really start to feel like something
like you're in a cult, kind of almost.
Something historic's happening. By those last 2 minutes, all he could think was, poor thing.
Really?
He just thought, how do you live a normal life
store?
after this? How do you do anything exactly? But good for you, audience. Way to let your artists know that they're hip. I was, but yeah, boy. Someone said, should pitch mirroring the videos for Fender. Any research on the subject, Doctor?
What is it?
Well, what if on Fender? Or any video instruction? What if the instructor were mirrored?
Oh, we discussed that.
Did you?
In grave detail. Yes, and we tried it. We beta tested that, and it just didn't land. Yeah, I you know what, Mike? I'm not sure why that. I don't remember offhand, but I mean, every aspect of Fender play was surgically, considered, and so that they landed on whatever got the best feedback from everybody.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know something? Here's I've always been into the Muppets. As a little kid, I was a Sesame Street kid.
Yeah.
And then when the Muppet Show came on, it was one of the greatest things ever. And all the musicians, anybody who plays a stringed instrument is left-handed. Kermit plays banjo left-handed.
Oh.
Floyd plays bass left-handed.
I see the actual Muppets.
Janice plays her Les Paul left-handed.
Do we know what the Chuck E. Cheese dolls are they?
I have no interest in what you're talking about now. I'm talking about Muppets and Muppets only.
That is really offensive.
Yeah, well, you know what?
But that's the cost of having free speech.
Chuck E. Cheese. And I'm assuming in the early days, the reason all the Muppets play guitars or fretted, stringed instruments left-handed was for the puppeteers who are below. I mean, Frank and Jim, they would have these headbands with mirrors, so they could look up at the Muppet
and see what they're doing.
Right. And so maybe it was easier for them to.
Did they always have mirrors, or did they do something else?
No, the very, very beginning it was mirrors because they didn't have video monitoring.
What was it later by the end? Oh, video monitoring.
Now I'm sure they have very advanced stuff. I'm just riveted by that. And I mentioned this to someone, and she said, "You've got to be the only person who's ever possibly noticed this." I said, "Really? Ever since a little kid, I couldn't help but notice because I wanted to be a guitar player." I don't know. I think other people have noticed. All right. So I have I know I've been babbling about lots about life and music and all that, but it's a big deal. Now. What have you been working on? Like, what was the last thing you taught in a classroom? I know it was even
yesterday.
Yeah, she said just yesterday.
In a private lesson or to the big class?
A big class. What was the topic?
It was how to do rhythm stuff.
Okay, so and like how to count or how to like.
Well, I had the class clap on every beat, and then I had them take away beat 2 and 4, and said like this is basically folk music. Popular indie music, all these things, and then have them take away beats 1 and 3 and said this is R&B, soul, this is all the African rhythm derived music, and like if you pretty much can understand that feel in your playing, you can start to make stuff sound right out of the gate.
Gotcha.
It's like ergonomics for rhythm.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah, I never thought about that way.
It's whether or not you can reflexively get into that feeling. So if it was like so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just a completely different feel for people that aren't used to it. It feels backwards. Yeah.
I was flying back from Oklahoma Saturday night, and I watched The Jerk. The Steve Martin movie.
I freaking love that movie.
Okay,
man.
so there's this. Okay, so now, and Steve Martin's a very, very good banjo player.
In real life.
In real life. I mean, I think that most people know that by now. And in the opening scene, obviously, when he discovers that he's not really naturally born into the family, if everyone knows what I'm referring to, it's really. Sonny it's Sonny Terry and Willie McGee. I think it's like they're really performing in the movie, and the family's all clapping and dancing, and he's way off beat. Like he can't find the beat. And I thought how difficult this must have been for Steve Martin to physically film, to dance around and clap and not even accidentally hit 2 and 4 or 1 and 3 for that matter. Doing take after take and to not just fall into, he manages to not clap on a single quarter note. It's got to be really hard. I know this sounds like it's like the opposite world for some people.
Well, here, you give me quarter notes. Let's see if we can do it.
Okay, so.
I think I can do this. I can take this gig. Are they going to do a redo on this?
You had to find a minor second, too. Just to make it really. You couldn't have found something diatonic. You could not have found something diatonic. You just had to make it just hurt.
It was Morse code for
help
for
us.
This sucks.
Hey, speaking of Morse code, a little trivia for everybody. The Capitol Records building, which is just
you could throw a stone
and
too,
hit it from Dylan's place. At the top of the Capitol Records building in Hollywood, there's a red light and it's flashing. Obviously for planes, just as a, and it's flashing Morse code, and it spells out Hollywood.
So we need that.
Well, give the pilots a little something, kind of. Hey, where am I? I don't know. And then the Capitol is like the big stack of records. The building looks like a big stack of records. It's flashing Hollywood. Oh, we're in Hollywood.
Oh, well, there you go, folks. See, so when you decide to come here, get a tetanus shot first, of course. Yeah,
you should. Well, you should. Yeah, you should anyway.
You should.
Depending on
you really should.
Grammy winner Steve Martin. Yeah.
Thanks for the question, Greg. Oh, so Mary's question. You want to do that?
Oh, yes, this is great. I'm sorry. Yes, I forgot. We had one more question before we wrap up. Wait, this went by fast.
Is it already? Oh my God.
Well, I'm sorry. We haven't played much.
What happened here?
We'll get to something playing wise in a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Mary, I love this letter. This is from Patreon, by the way. So she says, "I'm a grandmother that's appreciated good music and songs as far back as I can remember. I don't know music theory and I don't play a musical instrument.
Yeah.
I just know what I like to hear.
Yeah.
I love this. However, my grandson, who's 23 now and has played since he was 9, talks to me about music and his playing. He's played in some band things, and he seems to understand music theory and has multiple instruments and is a real student of it. Pretty much self-taught.
Don't say band things to him. Just say professional band.
He's played in bands.
Yeah.
Watching your show helps me understand a lot of the things that he talks about.
Sure.
As we enjoy conversations about his music and about all the things I don't really understand, except when he explains it. I've always had a passion for learning. I'm in my late 70s and still have that passion. Just want you to know you don't have to be a musician to appreciate this show.
You really don't.
I found it very valuable and fascinating. Keep it up and thank you. Well, Mary, you've learned about the Morse code on the top of the Capitol Records building. You found out about, my glasses. That probably wasn't that fascinating. But also, I'm talking about, feedback. Get, how to go to. It's funny because someone in the comment section mentions like, well, you could, because the Fender community.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary. On the Facebook community, you're right. People make videos and they post it, and you can get feedback there. Now, fortunately, that community is very unique in terms of internet communities.
Oh God,
as you know. You started it, so you would know. It's a very, very encouraging, safe place, which is one. And it takes effort to maintain that encouraging, safe feel. And someone mentions and by the way, the internet, not always the nicest place to post videos of yourself playing and hey, what's everybody think? But if you're a member of the Fender Facebook community, it is. I mean, they don't sponsor the show, but it is a plug because we're involved with it, and we
Absolutely,
do know it's a really, really great place. And I've seen it. I've seen people make their improvements. I've seen them.
Tons. In fact, there's quite a few people watching this show.
Watching the show. Yeah. I also love watching some guitar players have picked up the bass.
Oh, thank you.
And then they're making that move.
I love the bass converts or the bass guitar converts. I've seen quite a few of those too.
That's even hipper. That's even.
Yeah, Sean's an everything convert.
Well, yes, Sean. Yeah. Well, actually, Sean was the first person I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Because I remember just kind of I'm at the point now. I must be a fan of Sean's because I'm now looking forward to seeing whatever he's working on next or doing. Because with some students, you can kind of see what's coming up next.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of skill level, but genre or they're in this genre. I bet you this artist is coming up next. They'll be getting, and that would be natural and healthy. But with Sean, I kind of don't know where he's going.
He's going wherever Sean's going.
Yeah.
Sean, where do you live? Georgia? Where's the weather looks like Georgia to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I was in Oklahoma City last weekend, 107, folks.
Wow.
I did not want to leave the pool. Let me tell you that.
What was the humidity?
Oh, okay. At night, that was lovely because the first night we performed outside, it was like stepping into a dishwasher mid-cycle. In the stage jacket and the whole thing. Just sweltering, man. It was,
when you open it up and the heat's...
Yeah, and that was what it was like walking out of the dressing room and out into the night air. It was just... Oklahoma City, that weather. And then came back here and we got this great rain. All right. Scott Fogel says, when I play bass, it makes my guitar sound good. I encourage anyone who is bass curious to go for it, says Eric L. I love that. Bass curious. Good for you. If it were not for posting my playing on
That's great.
FP,
Yeah, Michael.
I would never have the courage to play live. Michael, see, there you go. We take steps. We take steps. Go ahead. I love seeing Steve Martin jerk references. That's great. Oh, he's in Savannah, Georgia. I love Savannah. You can see that.
I like
Forrest
Georgia
Gump.
in general.
Yeah. You can see the Forrest Gump statue in that little park. Oh, and he lived in Oklahoma City. Savannah, Georgia. You also visit Flannery O'Connor's childhood home. One of my favorite Southern writers of all time.
I think you'll stay a beginner. I mean, like, it's just it took forever to not feel like a beginner, Michael. I think it really took many, many, many years to build any confidence.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was gigging for years before I was kind of what I would call a confident player.
And the other thing is, whatever you can do in your room or at your house and what you can do when you're playing a gig are two different things. Because when you throw the pressure on it, it starts to really like show whether you need something to be reflexive for you to do it at a gig. All right, so here, ready? So do a country solo over this, and we'll change styles. Jazz. All right, so
I tried to go sharp 5 there at one point.
okay, Van Halen. Whatever it would be. Okay, now jazz. No, that's it. That's all you get.
There you go.
I was going to go into classical. So
yeah, I think everyone's got the right idea here. Like I think in sort of we all feel like beginners, even if we're intermediate and advanced, because at some point we're going to compare ourselves to other players, or we're going to compare ourselves to certain metrics. But and I would say maybe it's not such a bad thing to always. I was like, don't always think of yourself as a beginner, but never stop wanting to learn more. Never, just that wanting to learn more that's going to help you reach for that instrument at some point.
I think guitar for me has been like any long-term personal relationship where you fluctuate in and out of being in lust. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you can get back into lust again, that's incredible in a long-term relationship. By the way.
That's great.
But if you could just stay in love, you're doing a damn good job. And I think for a lot of times to stay in love with guitar, it takes novelty, which means trying new stuff, right? And then it also takes it's a good sign if I'm getting too far away the guitar that I might be prioritizing things that just really aren't that important to me.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah, and so like if the guitar's been in my hand a lot, it means I've been prioritizing. I might have less money than I have,
right?
But
because that's how we sustain ourselves.
Because that's a good way to do that metric. But I mean, it's a lifelong relationship. It's like anything else that you want to do for the rest of your life. It's kind of just such a long game that you don't worry about losing or winning the day.
It's an evolution.
Yeah.
And we don't see the differences in between days. I talk about this all the time.
Right.
You can only find those markers of difference over longer spans here. So
right.
there's a lot of somebody like, I'm a 4-year beginner. It's like, that's fine. That's fine. You'll be playing.
It's just a word too. Beginner, intermediate. What does it really mean?
True. Well, there you go. Tomo Fujita said, "Don't compare," or as Michael Storm says, "Stay in love. Buy more guitars." Yeah. So you guys got it. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week with I don't know what we'll. I had an idea. I want to talk about for next week.
Yeah.
If we can.
Yeah.
I want to talk about modulations, chord changes, in songs, and the different ways that we can some really well-known songs successfully change keys.
Yeah.
I really kind of love. I'm such a chord guy. I kind of like the way those things function.
So if you guys are here, if you can join the Patreon, that helps us out a lot. Doing the show, we want to buy another camera. We had 2 cameras, if you didn't notice, and now we're down to 1 again.
Did you get robbed?
No, it just stopped working.
Oh, it stopped working.
It's like, yeah, just stopped turning on.
You know what? We were robbed of the opportunity
to have 2 cameras.
Show.
And then keep your eyes open for that Learn Until thing if you want to work with us.
I mean, this will be follow this show. Join Patreon. That's the best way to know what's going on with all that. If you can,
it's fine too. So,
we get
either
that.
way.
All right. We're signing off, everybody. Be well. I'll play chords and then wait.